Jananeem Sharadam Devi Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayoshritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukasvarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Yeah. Dear devotees, we were discussing three types of individual beings or three types of jivas. Paramarthika jiva, Vyavaharika jiva, and Pratibhasika jiva. So Paramarthika jiva means here it is actually original consciousness or bare awareness, pure awareness, which is our inherent nature, which is our real nature, which otherwise it is called Atman or Brahman. That is called Paramarthika jiva. Now, when this Paramarthika jiva, the original consciousness, is reflected upon using the reflecting medium called mind, then it is called reflected consciousness, which is experienced during our waking state, Jagrada Avastha. Say, for an example, now I am giving a talk, Drik Drishya Viveka, and you are all hearing, experiencing my talk, Drik Drishya Viveka. So this is called reflected consciousness. So this is called Vyavaharika jiva. Transactional individual. Then we experience the dream. In the dream, when we are sleeping, we will have a dream. We will have it, all of us, we have got a dream experience. During the dream, I am the dreamer. I'm experiencing the dream. I'm experiencing as the dreamer, and I'm experiencing the dreamer world also, dream world also. So this dreamer is called Pratibhasika jiva. So these three types of jivas, which we have to understand. Now, the theory of limitation, which avacheda, avachedaka, then bimba, pratibimba, then one more, three types of vichara we did discuss in the previous class. So the theory of limitation, how it is, how there is an identity between the jiva, individual self, and the Brahman, the pure awareness or the original consciousness, is been explained by taking the help of Mahavakya, that is Tattvam Asi. Now, the question may come for all of us, or it should come. Swamiji, the Shastras are telling again and again that we are Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss absolute. Then why should we think all these three types of jivas, avacheda, avachedaka, bimba, pratibimba, or abhasavada, all these things, why should we think? Why should we discuss? Why should we study at all? The question may come. Is it just time pass? Is it a philosophical time pass? Why the author is taking these questions is because how much ever we know, or when we hear that we are actually the supreme, we are the self, consciousness and existence and bliss absolute, and it is only one reality, that is the Atman or Brahman, then the question may come, if it is so, then there are so many jivas, there are so many individual beings, so many types of human beings, animals, birds, reptiles, mammals, so many types of beings we are there. How can we say we are only one? This question will come. And the other pertinent question may come, if Brahman alone exists, Brahman alone is real, but we are experiencing this empirical world, which is very true. Brahman may be true, yes, because now we have heard time and again, we feel that yes, but our experience of this empirical world is much more stronger, much more real than Brahman at this given point of time for all of us. Then how can we think Brahman alone exists and the world is a mirage, or it is an appearance? How to understand this? Are we missing something? So these type of questions can boggle our mind, a philosopher's mind, or the person who is pursuing the truth. So keeping this in the mind, author is discussing these topics or these questions. So this we have to understand. And one more question may come for all of us. Now, I am the self, I am the consciousness, bliss, absolute, all fine, but I am not experiencing it now. As of now, I'm experiencing the physical universe, I'm experiencing my mind, I'm experiencing the dream, all these things fine. The reflected consciousness is fine, but the original consciousness, whatever you say, we are not able to understand, we are not able to experience at this given point of time. Now, what is the validity? What is the validity of these statements? You may get this question, we may get this question. So here answer is, it is Shastra Pramana. Means it is validated by scriptures. What is the scriptures at all? The scriptures are nothing but the recording of the experiences of the knowers of the Brahma. The people who have experienced the ultimate truth. The people who have realized the ultimate truth, their experiences are recorded. That is what scriptures. So the scriptures are validating these truths, are these the highest truths. So we have to go on this. Avachinnasya jivasya purnena brahmanaikatam tattvamasyadi vakyani jagur netna itara jivayoho. The Vedic statements such as tattvamasi declare the identity of the Brahman with the individual self, who appears as such from the standpoint of the theory of the limitation, but it does not agree with other views of Jiva. What does it mean? Tattvamasi, when we say, so we are really original consciousness. Paramarthika Jiva. Paramarthika Jiva is the only reality. Pratibhasika Jiva and Vyavaharika Jiva, it is only an appearance. That is what the meaning of this sloka. Now the question will come to us, how to understand this? We will take an example of the water bubble. We are seeing the water and we are playing with the water, and their water bubbles were formed. Yes. Did we see? Yes. Did we experience? Yes. Sometimes when we were children, we might have tried to pin it. We would have tried to touch it and the water bubble has been burst. Fine. Now, water and water bubble, both are one and the same. Are they two different? Generally, the children or the ignorant people will say, water and water bubble, there are two different things. Now, we, the students of Vedanta, by this time we should have understood that water and water bubble, both are not two different things. They are one and the same. Why? Water is appearing as water bubble, that's all. The water bubble got formatted, got created, got formed in the water. The water itself has formed as a water bubble. Of course, air is inside, there is no doubt. Water has been formed in the form of water bubble. So water bubble was born in the water and it stayed in the water and it gets dissolved, it gets merged in the water. The water is appearing as water bubble for some time. So the water is only reality. The water was appearing as water bubble for some time. That's all. That is not the reality. It is only an appearance. But the problem is we have been obsessed with this appearance, and this appearance has become the reality for all of us. Why? Is it not real then? How can you say that it is not real? However we say it is not real, it is real for all of us. Why? Because of our mind and intellect. Similarly, this example we can take for the example of the world also, this empirical universe. We are experiencing the universe day in and day out. How can we say that it is an appearance, it is not real? We don't say that nothing exists. If you say nothing exists, it becomes asat, or like Shunyavadins of the Buddha, Bauddha's one school, Shunyavada, nihilism. We don't say that nothing exists, but something exists, no doubt, but that is appearing as something. Brahman exists, but Brahman has been appearing as the world. That's what we say. So the reality belongs to the Brahman, not to this empirical world. So this point you have to understand very clearly. Now, why it is appearing for us and why this appearance is become reality for all of us? Why? Because whatever the knowledge we get from our mind or intellect alone and through sense organs. Through sense organs and through mind or intellect alone, we get all types of knowledge. No doubt that is beautiful, that is wonderful. But at the same time, it is limiting my understanding. It is putting a framework for my understanding. It is not only putting a framework for my understanding, it is making me to see, experience, conceive the world in the particular way. Just for an example, dog conceives the world. Dog perceives the world not similar to us. Why? Because of its biological structure or whatever. The monkey, perceives the world in different way. Maybe if you can, Swami Brahmanji was able to talk with even the birds and the ants. If you ask the ant, then the ant, the way it perceives the world, it is totally different. But we are all the human beings, we discuss the conceiving of the world and the idea of the world is similar to every one of us, but it is not the same at all. We take it for granted. Why it becomes real for us? Because we are conceiving the world through this mind, and mind is, cheating us, saying that the world is real. So the Shastras are saying the original consciousness, the Brahman, the self, or the bare awareness is the alone reality, the reflected consciousness, because of that, which the Parama Pratibhasika Jiva and Vyavaharika Jiva, the waking self and the dream self, both are appearance, they are not real at all. How to understand? Scriptures are saying. What is the scriptures? The scriptures are nothing but the recordings of the knowers of the Brahman. So this is what we have to understand. Same thing we can see with the example of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda also had experienced this. Now, so why this world is appearing as true for us? Because of our mind, because of our intellect, because of our sense organs. We understood now. Now, why I am experiencing the individuality? I am individual. That individuality, living is not that easy. Even Swami Vivekananda had this problem. As an young Naren, he also had this issue. He also had this problem, no doubt. So why we are experiencing this individuality, if you say, that is also because of this mind and because of the sense organs. The appearance of Jiva is due to the limitation superimposed upon Brahman is described in the 35th verse. Before going to verse, I'll give a simple example you will be able to understand. If I ask, the part is in the space or the space is in the part? Kindly just think properly whether the part is in the space or the space is in the part. Yeah, I think because there is if there is a part, there is a space in that, isn't it? If there is a part in this, for an example, there is a space in this. So space in the part only. If you ask children, probably children will tell. But we may get confused. But generally for transaction purpose and generally without thinking, we always think that there is a space in the part. But it is not true. Part is in the space. But now, for an example, in the open field, you take a big part and you place in between the field. Now, how many spaces are there if you ask? Generally, probably without attending Vedanta or without thinking properly, we may say there are two spaces. Because the space outside the part and the space inside the part. So there are two spaces actually. Now the Vedantin says, no, the space cannot be divided. It is only one space. Only the part cannot divide the space at all. It is only appearing that the wall of the part is dividing the space. It appears actually, but it is not so. This is called Ghatakasha and Mahakasha. So similarly, the so-called mind is thinking that I am separate from the self. Supreme self or the Atman. The individual self, is separate, is different, is from the Brahman. That's how the sense of individuality is been given for my understanding through my mind. Actually, the individuality, the sense of individuality, the experience of individuality is given by my mind. Otherwise, it is not at all. How can we understand? In the deep sleep. In the deep sleep, can we understand our individuality? No. Why? Because our reflecting medium called mind is not active. It is in dormant state. Because of this mind only we are experiencing the individuality. The mind destroys, then the individuality destroys. Brahmani avastita maya vikshepa avrutti rupini. Avrutti akandatam tasmin jagadjivo prakalpayat. This is one of the beautiful verse. Maya, the Maya Shakti, the magical power, which has got the double power, double aspect. One is the power of projection and the power of concealment, which is also in Brahman only. Jiva and individual nature of Brahman theories appear as, Jiva and the universe has been appearing. That's all. It is an only appearance. Now, Brahmani avastita. I will go this particular sloka by word. It is very beautiful. Brahmani avastita. Brahmani, in Brahman, in the consciousness, avastita, rests. So what rests in Brahman? Maya. The power of Brahman is what? Maya. Just like fire and its burning power. Maya rests in Brahman only. So Maya cannot be separated from Brahman, just like the burning power of the fire cannot be separated by the fire. Just like the sweetness cannot be separated by the sugar, sugar and sweet. Sugar is Brahman, the sweetness is what? Maya here. So the Maya exists in the Brahman. And this Maya has got Vikshepa Avrutti Rupini. So Maya has got two powers. Concealment, the power of covering, and the Vikshepa Shakti, that is the power of projection. Then what happens? Avrutya, having covered, it is covering this Akandatam, indivisible nature, covering the supreme, covering the Brahman, covering the indivisible nature. Tasmin, in Brahman, Jagat Jivo, the universe, the empirical universe and the individual self, prakalpayet, imagines. So it is beautifully, the whole theory has been told in this particular sloka. The Brahman, with the help of its own power, Maya, it projects the individual self, Jivatman, and it projects the universe also. That is what told in this particular sloka. Now, how to understand this? Again, probably this we have discussed. Again, I will quote once more. Take the example of the dream. Dream experience. Now I am experiencing the dream world. In the dream, I went to Ayodhya and I am seeing the Ayodhya temple. Or I went to Agra and I am seeing the Taj Mahal. Or I went to Kanyakumari and I am seeing the Vivekananda rock. And I took the photos of them and I placed on the WhatsApp status, Facebook, and whatnot. And people have commented. And I went and stayed in a particular place. I ate something. I swam across in the ocean. And I ate and I played. And sometimes we might have quarreled. All experience I was having. Then morning alarm rings. Then my sleep breaks. Then I get up. Then I see wherever I was before this dream, the previous night, I was sleeping in the room, in the bed. Now also I'm in the same place. My experience of going to Kanyakumari or Agra and Taj Mahal and Ayodhya, everything was in dream. So the dream action, the dream in the dream as an experiencer and the experienced, experiencer, experienced. All the three role was played by the mind alone. The mind was the dreamer. The mind was dreaming. experiencing the dream and experienced Ayodhya or Taj Mahal or Kanyakumari, Viveka and the rock experienced was also taken. Mind only took all the three roles. Isn't it? So similarly, the Maya Shakti has got power of concealment and power of projection. For example, rope and snake. In the Advaita Vadins, rope and snake never dies actually. Rope never breaks and snake never dies. Why? The rope has been covered because I didn't see the rope. That is what power of concealment. And power of projection is what? My mind projected the snake on the rope and I thought that is a snake. And there was a reaction. I shouted, I screamed, I brought a stick, and I went near and I tried to beat. And when I started beating, someone brought the light. And when they put the torchlight, they started laughing. Oh, my dear, that is a rope, not the snake. Then when I saw my ignorance was removed by the torchlight, then I said, yes, it is rope, not the snake. And I came back. So I didn't see the rope as a rope because of the power of concealment. But instead of that, I saw it as a snake. That is what? The power of projection. So this Brahman with the power of Maya, this Avana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti, the individuality, individual self, the concept of individual self, the notion of individual self, and the experience of this empirical universe, all this has been projected by the Brahman. So this is what you have to understand very clearly. That means what? All this play is what? Because of your mind. So now you can understand very clearly, Manayeva Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho. Mind alone is real for my bondage and for my liberation, which has been told by Shastras thousands of years before. Now you can understand the great uniqueness and the greatness of that scriptural statement. Manayeva Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho. So we are perceiving the world, we are perceiving the dream, everything is what? Unreal. It is just like a dream experience. Now the question will come for all of us. Dream experience is unreal, we understand. All of us, we know that. And dream, whatever I dreamt, it is all not real. Of course, many things it is based on our waking state experience only. I don't say no. I'm not going to the details. But the dream, whatever you experience, it doesn't have any reality. It doesn't have any iota of reality. We all know that. Now, the question may come for all of us. The waking state is also similar to dream state, Swamiji, you were saying. How is it? It is not acceptable or it is difficult to understand. Yes. Say, for an example, you have got a Vedanta dream. Sometimes we do get Vedantic dreams. So if you have got a Vedantic dream, so in the Vedanta, you feel that Shantivratananda has come in the and is taking the class of Drik Drishya Viveka. And I'm explaining that, oh my dear, whatever you are experiencing, the Taj Mahal now, that is mere dream. There is nothing like that. So please try to know that it is a dream. You may hear all these things, but you don't feel really, you don't understand or you don't get convinced that it is a dream. Now, when you got up, when you wake up, when you came to the waking state, when you enter the waking state from the dream state, no one is required for you to make you to understand the dream state was not real. Why? Because you came to the waking state, you switch over yourself to the waking state. Now you understand that dream state was not real. It was just a dream. It doesn't have any iota of reality. But now we are trying to analyze, we are trying to understand that the waking state is also like a dream state only. It is also a long dream. It is also a big dream. Since we are in the waking state and we are trying to negate the waking state as a dream, which is the problem for all of us. The moment we go to Turiya state, the moment we get away from this state to the higher state when we go, we'll be able to understand that the so-called waking state is also a long dream or a big dream. So this is what we have to understand. Even say, for an example, when we were children, whatever we were thinking, that is the real and that is the alpha and omega of the life. When we were children, now if you see in your middle age, it has changed. Your priorities have changed. The reality has changed. And when you go to your old age, and whatever today at this given point of time, who are in between around between 40 and 50, whatever you are thinking, it is the right, it is the thing to be done. Now, whatever we are thinking at the age of 60 plus or 70 plus, then definitely our reality, the concept of reality, the concept of values have changed. So everything is in our mind. At that given point of time, it may become real for all of us, but slowly, when we evolve, when our mind evolves, our concept of reality keeps on changing. But at given point of time, we think that that is the reality, and we shed our tears, we shed our sweat, whatnot. We get agitated. That's why Buddha said, please remember, this shall too pass. We do not to become insensitive. Oh, because everything is unreal, we not to become pessimistic. We not to feel, oh no, I should not work hard, I should not achieve anything. No. You may try to do all these things, but in heart of heart, in reality, you should know that the reality is what, and this is the mere appearance that you should be knowing. Then if you know all these things, what happens? Your mind doesn't get agitated. Your mind doesn't get boggled. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. You work like a housemaid. She works in the house as if it is her house, and she takes care, she cajoles the children of her owner as if it is her own children. But in the heart of heart, she knows that my children are in the hut. So live a detached life. Do all the work, no doubt, because the world is a moral gymnasium. We have come ourselves to make strong. We shall do all these things. Without doing, we cannot keep quiet, but you will be knowing what is right and what is real, so that your mind stop reacting. That's what we see in the life of all the great people. They do the work and they leave at any moment. They do the work and they leave at any moment. For example, Swami Shantivratananda was that. He was the greatest philosopher, and he was the president of the Ramakrishna Mat, Basavangudi, Bangalore in 50s and 60s, around 1950-60. Once a devotee, he asked him, Swamiji, if you don't mind, I will ask a personal question. He said, fine. Then the devotee said, Swamiji, I'm asking too much personal, taking liberty, you should not feel anything. The monk said, the Swamiji said, never mind, please ask. He said, Swamiji, you also maintain accounts and we also maintain accounts. Yes. And you also eat idli vada sambar. We also eat idli vada sambar. You live in the ashrama, I live in the house. And I also take an initiation. You have taken initiation. I also do, because I've taken mantra diksha. I also do a lot of japa, meditation and studies. You also do. Maybe you may do a little bit more. But except marriage, I don't find any difference between you and me, Swamiji. Sorry if I'm taking much liberty from you. Please, can you clear my doubt? Of course, he was sincere in asking this. Swami Shanji heard whole of his conversation and he said, yes, my dear, both of us, we maintain accounts. Both of us, we maintain eat idli vada sambar or rice and sambar. Yes, no doubt. And I live in the house, ashram, and you live in the house, except marriage. Not much difference you may feel, but there is only one difference. What is that, Swamiji? Look, now I am president of this ashrama. I am trying to work in this ashrama and I am trying to improve. Of course, a lot of things got improved during his tenure, no doubt. So ashrama has been improved during my tenure. Yes, Swamiji, we are all aware of it. We are grateful to it, the devotee said. Then tomorrow, of course, in those times, it was 15 paisa, 10 paisa, 15 paisa postcard. He said, tomorrow, in my 15 paisa postcard, I receive a letter from our headquarters, Belur Mat. My dear Tagishananda, thank you for all your services. We want you to come back, and such a monk is coming. Please hand over the charge to him, and at your earliest convenience, please come back to Belur Mat. I will receive a letter. Then I will write a reply to him. Revered Mara, thank you for your letter. Received your postcard. Yes, I am ready. Yes. And the monk comes. I hand over all the accounts and hand over all the responsibilities with a bag, carrying my few clothes and books, whatever is left out for me, mine, so-called, I will take and I will leave happily. The devotee nodded. He said, yes, Swamiji. But what happens to you? If the same call comes from someone XYZ to you, what happens? Then he said, Swamiji, I cannot leave immediately. Why? I've got my house, I've got my property, I've got my business, and I've got my so many responsibilities, other responsibilities. I can't leave it, Swamiji. Then Tagishanji continued saying, see, this is what the difference is. Externally, we are doing same work, no doubt, but I am not attached. You are attached to these things. That's what the difference between probably you and me. That's the only difference. The devotee understood, and he asked sorry, and he paid his respects, and he left. So, for externally doing work may be similar for in everyone, but the sense of attachment, the sense of doership, the sense of enjoyership, all these things differ from person to person. Based on the strong sense of these attachment and detachment, our sufferings and our experience of pleasure and pain, all these things exist. World may not change for me and for you, but my experience of the world and my reactions toward this world and the situations differ from person to person. So when you study Advaita Vedanta, when you try to understand Advaita Vedanta, when you try to put this Advaita Vedanta into practice to the extent possible, then situations may not change, people may not change, your family may not change, but you will be a changed person. Your reactions will be changed. Your getting agitated will change. This shall too pass. This too shall pass will be the tagline of our life. That's what we have seen in the many of the senior monks' life. They did a lot of tremendous work as if the whole center depends on them. But once the call came, they left everything and they transferred to the different place, and as if it doesn't belong to them and they don't belong to it. So this is what the detachment Swami Vivekananda tells in one of his lectures in Karma Yoga. Beautifully in the 6th chapter, I believe. Detachment and unselfishness are the key words which you have to practice. Now, what is the nature of Jiva and what is the nature of universe has been answered in the 36th verse. Let us try to understand. Jivo dhista chidabaso bhaved bhokta hi karma krita bhogya rupa midam sarvam jagat syad bhuta bhautikam. It is because of the fallacious presentation of the consciousness located in the intellect, performs various actions and enjoys their results. This is what called Jiva, individual self. And all this consisting of the elements and their products, which are of the nature of objects of enjoyment, is called Jagat. Means, what is universe? What is Jiva? If you ask, the author is telling the individual self means the sense of doership, the sense of enjoyership, Karta and Bhokta. I am Karta, I am Bhokta. I am the doer and I am the enjoyer. The sense of this doership and the sense of enjoyership, whatever you are saying, that is what the Jiva or individual self. And the 5 elements, space, air, water, fire, and earth, the permutation and combination of these 5 objects is what the universe. So what is Jiva and what is Jagat has been explained here. Now, the Brahman, with the help of its power called Maya, it is appearing or it is projecting the individual self as well as the universe for the self, for the Atman, for the Brahman. This is what very important thing which we have to understand. The Brahman, with its power called Maya, it is projecting the individual self as well as the Jagat. Both are being projected by the Brahman itself with the help of its power Maya. This is what we have to understand. Because I'm doing so many things and I'm getting into loop actually. Now when I'm enjoying, I'm happy. This I refers to whom? Though we think that I refers to self, but that I as the enjoyer, I am happy, Swamiji. Today I am very happy, Swamiji. If we say that I refers to your mental state, that to your mind, or you can say emotions also, which is a part of mind. I am today unhappy, Swamiji. I am morose today. Somehow I am feeling disgusted. I am disgusted. I am feeling disgusted. What this I refers to here? Again, it refers to your empirical self or still clearly, that is to your mind. I am at profit. My business is at profit. Fine, no doubt. And I am feeling happy. I am feeling delighted. Yes, one should feel it, no doubt. But all these feelings, all these actions belong to whom? For your mind and for your sense organs. Because I am never the doer nor the enjoyer. I am beyond all these dualities. But just like there's a beautiful, there is a mirror. In the mirror, you are seeing the reflection of the sun. And if someone thinks that this reflection itself is a true, so how foolish it is. So similarly, we are also thinking that I am the doer and I am the enjoyer. It is because of the reflection of the consciousness, which is reflected through the mind. The aham karta, aham bhokta. Oh, people, I did so much work, Swamiji. People didn't recognize my work. People didn't recognize my volunteer service. So I'm not happy. I will never go to that institution anymore. And I will not work. I will not do any my service there. Such type of utterances, we keep on hearing it. I'm suffering from that. I'm feeling unhappy. All these things, because I'm feeling that I am the doer, and when it has not been recognized, and I'm feeling that morose. The joy is what? The enjoying is what? In the negative sense. This doership and enjoyership, all these things are functions of the mind. I am neither the doer nor the enjoyer. So this is what, but we feel we are doer and we are enjoyer. That is because of the function of the mind, because of the reflected consciousness, or because of the reflected medium. So this is what we have to understand very clearly. Means the individual being or the individuality, the sense of the individuality and the function of the individuality, it is all because of the body-mind complex. Even including birth and death. I have taken birth, no doubt, and I have got a death also, date of expiry. And again, if I am not realized soul, I will realize self, I will take birth. So is that self is taking birth? If the Atman is taking birth, no. Self is aja, it is birthless. Since it is birthless, it is deathless also. Then who is taking this birth and death? The mind is taking the birth and death. That is what's called Sukshma Sharira. If you remember Tattva Bodhara Aproksha Anubhuti classes, what is Sukshma Sharira we have understood. Sukshma Sharira is assuming the new Sukshma Stula Sharira. That's all. Otherwise, self is not taking the, neither it is taking birth, nor it is taking death, nor is experiencing the death. It is only body and mind is experiencing the birth and death, not the self. Why? Self is aja. Self is neither it takes birth, nor it dies. But we feel that I am taking birth and I am doing actions, and its results is what? Punya and papa, with luck and bad luck. All these things I'm experiencing. These are all functions of the mind. We have to understand. So karma bandhana, karma mukti, or karma bandhana and karma mukti, both belong to mind only, not for the self. So this we have to understand very clearly. And what about this Jagat? From Brahman plus Maya. From Maya, Tanmatras has come. Tanmatras are Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasagandha. The subtle elements of the 5 gross elements. From these 5 subtle elements, 5 gross elements, space, air, fire, water, earth has been emerged, so-called, and the permutation combination of these 5 gross elements are nothing but the universe. That's all. That is also has been projected by the Brahman actually. How to understand? Water and the wave. Water has taken a particular form, particular shape, and we call it by a name wave actually. Then again it subsides. What happened? The water rised in a particular form and it got dissolved or it got merged in the water. So similarly, Nama Rupatmaka Jagat. The whole manifestation of the universe is what? It is just manifestation is what? In the form of name and mind. So mind can conceive only name and form. That's why we can think only through the name and form alone. When the mind dies, when the mind gets dissolved, when the mind vanishes, then what happens? The so-called very real empirical universe, which we are thinking so real, it also gets vanished. Means it may not destroy completely, But at least for me, for the individual self, it gets destroyed and it gets vanished. Why? Because the reflecting medium called mind, which is the medium for the experience, goes away. It is not there. Just like the deep sleep. In the deep sleep, for it has been temporarily halted. But again, once the moment I wake up, then again I experience this physical, empirical self, or sorry, empirical universe. But when I get mukti, what happens? The mind gets dissolved. The mind gets vanished. Then what happens? Then there is no more birth and death. Just for an example, there is a mirror. The mirror got broken. Then we clean it in the dustpan and we throw into the dustbin. Now, since there is no mirror, there is no reflection of my body, my face at all. Since there is no reflection of my face, I cannot say that my face doesn't exist. My face exists, whether mirror exists or not. So similarly, I as the original consciousness eternally exist. But because the reflecting medium called mind doesn't exist, then there is no sense of individuality, or the experience of the individuality ceases to exist. Or it doesn't exist at all, actually. So this is what we have to understand. I know that it takes some time for all of us to understand, comprehend. Understanding is the first thing, then accepting is the second thing, and third thing we should put into practice. Then at some point of time, we will experience this truth. Experiencing the truth is means what? Removing the wrong notion, removing the misconception, removing the superimposition. So may Sri Ramakrishna bless all of us so that we shall understand and experience the reality at the earliest, so that we can understand our real nature and will be free from this all dualities. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yes, any questions?
Maharaj, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Suppose you said after we realize, and first we have to get the knowledge, then understand it, accept it, and then realize it. So suppose we have realized it, so we have under the mind is broken, what you actually said just now. So mind is broken. So if the mind is broken, then the person is living in this dream world only. He is physically there. If the mind is broken, then how will he experience the living part here for the remaining years of his stay on this planet in a body?
No, I think you didn't understand my thing properly. You took it literally. When I say that mind is broken or mind is dissolved, of course, I think you related with the example of the mirror. Literally, you took the example of the mirror there. I understand. So here, mind breaking means what? Mind getting dissolved. Mind getting dissolved. The moment when your mind gets dissolved, then there is no experience of the individual self at all. That happens only when you die. When you die, this mind carries you to the new birth. Okay. Once you experience the self, after experiencing that, when the moment you die, then your Sukshma Sharira gets merged in Karna Sharira, and Karna Sharira gets merged in the Atman, or the self. Then since your mind doesn't exist, then your sense of individuality also doesn't exist at all. I'm not speaking of coma state, or I'm not speaking of mind is inactive because of some medical reasons. Then what happens to him? I'm not speaking of that.
I fully understand when you said that when you die, actually, this stage comes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that clears my doubt. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, I thought we'll have a lot of questions today because the subject was a bit deep.
So one question that keeps coming back is on self itself, no, Swamiji? So we keep, without the mind, there is really no self. There is, like you said, when you dissolve the mind, there is no self to experience in that sense, right? It's essentially uh, because the self exists, or the self is a creation of the mind, right? So once you have, if you accept that, your mind is dissolved, then there's no jiva concept. There's only Brahman.
Yes. So here you have to understand, when there is no mind, there is no experience of the individual self.
Correct.
Okay.
So there is only experience
there
of
is no
Brahman.
experience of individuality, or there is no experience of the individual self. When there is no mind, then there is no experience of the self. You cannot say that, because you are not separate from the self. You are the self. See, when we are thinking this, because of the limitation of the word, somewhere we think, okay, there is something called self, and I am something. This will be underlying thinking will be going on in our mind. This is what one of the challenges in the Advaita Vedanta, trying to explain the Advaita Vedanta concepts in the language with its limitations. When the mind dissolves, the sense of individuality dissolves, that's all. But self doesn't dissolve. Self cannot be experienced. Then you are that self. Then what is there to experience? Why do you need one more instrument to experience yourself?
So the mind dissolves. There is still the sense of consciousness. And there is a sense of, let's say, Satchitananda, a sense of existence. And that sense of existence at that point of time is essentially, it is not the self. It is Brahman, really. You're experiencing.
No, again, I'm telling you, yes, you are the self, and you are the Brahman itself. You and the Brahman, there are no two things.
Correct.
So we are always trying
the
to
two things happen because of the mind. If there is no mind, there are no two things.
Yes, when there is no mind,
there is no
individuality or individual
there is just
self.
Experience.
Yes, that you just bear awareness, that's all. See, when I'm experiencing the sugar syrup, how much ever I feel very near to it, but I and sugar syrup are two different things. Here it is not so. When I say that the mind goes, the individual self, the experience of the individual self goes away, no doubt, but I myself is the self there. So then what happens to the experience of self? Arey Baba, you are that self. Then there is nothing else required for you to experience it.
But also there is no experiencer. There is nobody experiencing. There is just the experience.
Yes, you are right. It is that's why we use the word pure awareness, bare awareness.
But in that light, how the effect of karma is coming. So we are taking another birth, right? So
no, once you get a realization, then there is no karma for you, and there is no more birth and death or nothing. When your mind is dissolved, Sukshma Sharira is dissolved, then there is no vehicle for you to take a new birth. So you can't take any new more births. Yes. Just like in Ganga Sagar, Ganga goes and merges in the sea. Till then, Ganga had its own individuality. But Ganga merges in the Ganga Sagar, then what happens? Then you show me Ganga, if you ask, then I say, I cannot show, sorry. Now it has merged in the sea. So once the realization happens, what happens? This individuality goes away. Your mind gets dissolved. You will experience the self. And because of your prarabdha karma, you will stay. And once your prarabdha karma is over, you will die. Your Sukshma Sharira gets merged. And when your mind is not there, then neither you will have any more births, no more deaths. Just like Ganga is merging with the sea in the Ganga Sagar. Afterwards, you cannot find Ganga separately, isn't it? That's what it happens.
I don't know whether it's the right question to ask, but in a way, if the mind dissolves, the universe also doesn't exist.
For you, doesn't exist.
There is no you also, so there's no universe in that context.
Yes. Now, why? Because this question, why we tell lies? Because if I realize and universe doesn't exist, if I say, then you will say, I have realized for me universe may not exist, but someone else has not realized person. Then for him also, how can I say that? I mean, world doesn't exist. So if I have realized, then for me, won't world doesn't exist. Now, I also part of the Brahman, you are also part of the Brahman, no doubt. But the your reflecting medium is still existing. My reflecting medium doesn't exist. That's why for me, there is no universe. But for you, the universe continues to exist. Otherwise, that's what one of the allegation, one of the question was posed by Sankyans for the Advaita Vedantins. If you say there's only one reality called Brahman or the self, then if one person is in bondage, everyone should be in bondage. If one person is realized, everyone should be realized. They said, no, the reality is only one self, but because of different reflecting mediums, so there are so many experiences.
Excellent explanation, Maharaj. It's very clear now.
Mm-hmm. And rather, I will give you one more example. Now, you were dreaming. Say, for an example, all of us, we are sleeping night. Okay, today night we go to sleep. And all of us, we have slept. And at some point of time, we will take it for discussion sake, we will take it for like this, that all of us, we are dreaming. Okay, now you had to go to Delhi, so you had to catch flight. So for 3:30 a.m. itself, you got up. Because 3:30 a.m. itself, alarm rang and you got up, your dream broke. And you continued your journey. Now, all of us, we didn't add anything. As usual, we got up at 6 or 7 a.m. But our dreams continued. Did you understand the example, Samit?
Yeah. So in effect, it goes back to that original thesis that the whole thing is unreal, and hence the unreal universe exists in the people who believe in
Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya.
Yes, it is in mind actually.
It's in the mind. It's in the...
Yes.
Maharaj, if on death the mind dissolves, then how come rebirth takes place for many and for some nirvana?
Yeah, now in the death it doesn't happen. That's what I said. Once after the realization of the self, after the experience that I am the self and ignorance is removed, then we continue to live. But once prarabdha karma is over, then I die. Once I die, then my mind gets merged. Then I will not have any more birth and death. But death is not the only thing. Because I die, my mind doesn't get dissolved. I will take one more birth if I am not realized. Ignorant person has to take some more births, no doubt. Only the realized person, after his death, his mind gets merged and he will not have any more birth and death.
Thank you, Maharaj. Understood.
Yeah.
Yes, Swamiji. So other questions we can ask people to pose in the next session.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj, for this opportunity to listen to you. It was really nice and eye-opener.
Thank you, Jai Ramakrishna.
Thank you so much. Jai Ramakrishna.